When the Prime Minister visited the RSS headquarters, how did you read the symbolism of that moment?
First of all, we have to look at the Prime Minister's visit to the RSS headquarters and also the Samadhi Sthala of the founder and all, as his conviction, not as just a gesture.
Do you believe the RSS has changed the BJP or the BJP has changed the RSS?
RSS is like a, just a very proverbial mother. One thing that I feel very sad about in present milieu is that we have done away with social untouchability, right? We have introduced political untouchability in this country.
MADHAV'S, in the introduction to your new book, which looks at the seminal speeches of the RSS, you say that the RSS is very difficult to understand and very easy to misunderstand. So let me start there. What is the one thing you think people have not understood about the RSS even today? And what is the one thing that people misunderstand about the RSS even today?
Oh, misunderstandings are many about the RSS. All those criticisms that we hear about RSS are all essentially misunderstandings about the functioning of the RSS, right from the olden days, calling it an upper caste organization, Brahminical organization, etc., to anti-Muslim, anti-minority, to anti-constitution, anti-Ambedkar. All these kinds of portrayal of the organization were either out of lack of understanding or a deliberate attempt to malign a strong organization. So misunderstandings are many. But the first part, why it used to be difficult to understand RSS for an outsider was because RSS always remained in a very close
very closed organization.
So
Yes.
we used to very proudly say, if you want to know RSS, come to Shakha. Come to RSS.
Yes.
No, not everyone can come to Shakha. Not everyone can come to RSS. But having said it, under the current chief, the RSS has now opened up much more, and that old system of to understand RSS you have to come to RSS has now changed. To make you understand RSS, I am ready to come to you. That is the new trend in RSS. Bhagavat himself, Sarpan Chalakji himself does so much of outreach. Now I think people are able to understand it better than...
If Dr. Hegdewar, the man who founded the RSS, was alive today, let's say he was born in this era and he looked at the RSS. What do you think would surprise him the most today about the RSS in the way that it has evolved?
Oh, see, right from the beginning, Dr. Hegdewar was clear about one thing, that he was not creating any ideological body.
That's so interesting because the RSS is seen as purely ideological.
He was right from the beginning stating only one thing, that, ours is a great culture. We are a great society, but somehow certain social evils and other things have kept us divided. That divide had led to whatever, political misfortunes this country had met with, including colonial rule and all that. So his only objective was to create greater unity in the Hindu society. Now today when I say, that may sound communal, that may sound parochial. But remember, in 1910, 1920, those days, if you read Arvind Ghosh, if you read even Ambedkar, if you read Gandhi, if you read Tilak, all these people used to very naturally say that the mainstream Hindu society here needs to be reformed in order for us to build a good country after independence. That was a very clear thing. Nobody said it is a communal approach, why only Hindu society, because they all believed that the mainstream society is Hindu. The problems with this country is because of untouchability. Where was untouchability? It was in the Hindu society. Caste divisions, where were they? It was in the Hindu society. See, the whole effort was that, Ambedkar was very categorical. He tells Congress leadership that unless you reform Hindu society, there is no salvation for this country.
For the RSS to remain contemporary, for any organization, any of us, journalists, politicians, public figures, intellectuals, ideologues, for any of us to remain relevant as the world changes, we have to change with the world without giving up some of our core beliefs. Would you say the RSS's biggest shift over the decades has been in relation to caste? Because even if one goes through some of the old speeches to the speeches that would be made today, I would say that the RSS has changed, has adapted to the new discourse that caste is not preordained, your profession is not preordained. Discrimination, of course, is unacceptable. So how do you look at the RSS's evolution on caste?
It's a very interesting journey in the last 100 years. But first, let me tell you, the very secret of RSS survival, not just survival, but continuous growth over a period of 100 years. And at 100 years also, the RSS is growing. Largest number of youth representation, if there is any one organization in this country, it is RSS. It's able to attract young minds, young people, even at 100. The reason being, the RSS has always kept itself contemporaneous. That's why I always say that it never became a prisoner of any particular
of
dogmatic approach or anything.
So give me an example of something the RSS used to believe 30 years ago that it has abandoned or changed.
See, RSS approach always has been that when it comes to modernity, just remain one step behind the society. When it comes to idealism, always stay one step ahead. So present an idealistic model before the society. Society will immediately accept you. But in terms of modernity, society may go much faster than you. I mean,
so why do you have to remain behind?
One step behind.
Why?
Don't go far behind.
Why?
Because in modernity, you have to be a little discretionary. What is good for us, accept it. What is not good for us, wait. Make it, wait for it to become relevant.
Wait for change to take place and then support it?
Then if it is good change, accept it. If it is not a good change, then have the courage to say, no, this is not good for us. So that mindset has helped RSS remain relevant from time to time. As far as caste is concerned, not just with RSS, through the freedom movement, the biggest battle between Gandhi and Ambedkar was over the question of Varnas, Varnashram Dharma. Gandhi used to say that no, Varnashram Dharma was a sacred institution. It was a very good institution. Ambedkar used to say that no, that is the root of all problems.
I mean, Gandhi fought for the equality between castes. Ambedkar fought for the annihilation of caste.
Yes, Ambedkar wanted that whole system to go. Completely. Yes. Gandhi said, no, there are evils, let's remove evils. Untouchability being one such evil. Caste hierarchy.
So where does the RSS come in? RSS, between these two schools of thought?
So in RSS, if you read the initial discourse of Deen Dayal Upadhyaya or even Guruji Golwalkar, there used to be this similar approach that don't blame the Varnashram Dharma per se and then start blaming Hindu society as the evil society and all that. No, this was an arrangement. Today that arrangement has outlived. So the caste that we see today probably has acquired certain evil tendencies. Those have to go. That has been the stand right from the time of Guruji Golwalkar. That trend continued, and then when Balasaheb Devras became the chief, the third chief, he very boldly made that statement in Pune, in which he said that this outlived institution of caste should go lock, stock and barrel. And he said if untouchability is not a crime, nothing in the world is a crime. So this was a very bold stand coming from RSS. I'm saying those statements.
So when your critics call you as in the RSS Brahmanical, how do you respond to it?
No, that's a very old criticism. Nobody says that.
Today you don't hear it. But if maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, today what is the one criticism of yourself that you hear that you feel comes from a lack of understanding? I'm not talking about political critics. I'm talking about social critics.
Today's, on a lighter note, don't take it seriously. Today's biggest misunderstanding about RSS is that it is controlling Narendra Modi and BJP. It is because of RSS that BJP is not able to take it.
Why is that a misunderstanding? Now that you've brought
it, absolute misunderstanding, I tell you. Not today. In the entire history. See, in 1950, when Bharatiya Janasangh was created, the RSS took a very clear decision about its role or involvement in politics. I must say that has not changed even after 75 years today. It remains the RSS stand. RSS will be ready to lend its Karyakartas, Swayamsevaks to political activity, but RSS will scrupulously keep itself away from day-to-day politics.
Okay, now you said on a lighter note, the myth is that the RSS has control over the Prime Minister. In the Lok Sabha elections of 2024, I believe, as a student of politics, and you can correct me if you disagree, that the RSS showed, whether it meant to show that or it didn't show that the BJP needed the RSS to win elections by large margins. The BJP slipped below a majority, and it is widely believed that the RSS's full enthusiasm was not there in some parts of the country, one. And two, JP Nadda ji had made that comment that BJP can now live autonomously of the RSS, and the RSS showed, or the RSS Karyakarta showed, that the BJP needs the RSS. That doesn't mean the RSS doesn't need the BJP. So I'm not saying the RSS controls the BJP or the Prime Minister. I'm just saying the BJP needs the RSS. Would you agree with that?
Look, I'm also a party activist today.
And for many years in the past, you have been the person mediating between the party and the RSS, or the channel between of communication.
No, I mean, I'm originally from the RSS.
I know.
To be
I
an
know.
RSS
I know.
So the point I'm trying to make is, as a political activist, I have to be careful about my support base. Whether it is RSS or anybody else, I have to keep them with me.
Yes.
That will always be the approach of the BJP. RSS cadres who generally like the party's program, party's activity, party's ideas and all, we have to keep them with us. But we also have to then try and get the support of all others.
But would you agree that the RSS worker was not fully enthusiastic in 2024?
That's I was coming to that only. As an RSS man, from the RSS point of view, I should not say that if you lose 30 seats in UP, I taught you a lesson. But if you won all the seats in Madhya Pradesh, you won because of me. No, that is a very defeatist argument, a very unfair argument. So, why it happened like that in 2024 elections is something that BJP had to introspect. It did that introspection. It did that probably assessment of what went wrong. But as far as RSS cadres are concerned, they support the party on a principle, and there was no change in that principle.
But was there a sense of hurt after Naddaji's statement in the RSS worker?
Workers probably when they... I mean, honestly speaking, I have read that interview fully.
Yes.
He said it in a context. I mean, the context was that, there was a time when, you were very young, you needed it. Today you grew up, you manage your affairs.
Today you're a political force of your own.
That doesn't mean we no longer want them, we discard them. No, nothing like that. But obviously, statements can be understood in different ways. It did create some confusion, but I don't really think that because of that statement or misunderstanding about the statement, RSS would have worked against BJP, not at all.
When the Prime Minister visited the RSS headquarters, how did you read the symbolism of that moment? A lot of people felt that this means if there was some tension, now the tension has been ironed out. Now, tensions are natural. Even within a larger parivar, the Sangh parivar, any degree of tensions can take place. How did you see the visit by the Prime Minister to the RSS headquarters?
First of all, we have to look at the Prime Minister's visit to the RSS headquarters and also the Samadhi Sthala of the founder and all as his conviction, not as just a gesture. Many times people try to interpret as a gesture to please somebody. Neither RSS wants that kind of gestures, nor Prime Minister did it as a gesture. Out of genuine conviction, as an RSS man, in the 100th year RSS has entered. On that occasion, he went and paid his respects to the alma mater, I would say, where he got his main inspiration. But as far as those so-called tensions between the RSS leadership and BJP leadership are concerned, largely illusionary. Broadly, they are all based on certain mythical understanding of this relationship. There has always been constant exchange of notes, exchange of views, even during these months also. And as far as Prime Minister and his meetings with RSS leadership are concerned, all through they have been happening. Only thing is they are not publicized. Prime Minister or RSS chief going and meeting the Prime Minister or other RSS leaders meeting Prime Minister, They have always happened like a family, but every time you don't publicize, you don't give a public statement, you don't do a photograph.
Since your book is all about speeches, when every time Mohan Bhagwat ji makes a speech, there's a lot of speculation by journalists. Oh, was it a message to Modi? Was it a message to so and so? So, for example, after the elections, when Mohan Bhagwat ji spoke about how your political opposition is your political opposition, not a personal enemy. I'm paraphrasing. Later, he made a comment on, 75 years. That was also seen as, oh, who is he? Ye kiski taraf ishara hai? When you look at those speeches, and to those who thought that, is this a message to government? Is this a message to Prime Minister? What would you say?
Look, RSS BJP relations have been a fodder for all of you for many decades. Barkha, you have been in this profession for many decades. We have had these debates many times
yes,
in your previous Avatar in NDTV, other places. This has always been a good fodder for media. That's why time to time some statements are dissected and interpreted. Of course, I do agree that there is a possibility of that kind of an interpretation. Probably we have to be a little more careful. But when RSS leadership speaks, please remember, they don't speak keeping a given political situation or a given party or a leader in mind. They broadly speak for the whole country, and more importantly, a direction for the RSS Swayamsevaks, RSS members. An RSS member should not see anybody probably supporting any other political party as his enemy. That is RSS core view. That is why RSS thought, I won't become a political organization. I will keep myself.
I have to say on this note that over the years, I have always found that the RSS people I know are always open to a debate. I have never found any hostility, personal hostility. They can be ideological, what they think is one's ideology. But I agree with you, always up for a good debate. Often political parties, politicians on both sides are more intolerant than the RSS about a debate. So I just wanted to say that to Ram Madhav ji. Now, on a more serious note, Mohan Bhagwat ji made a speech about not going to look for a shivling under every mosque. And it is a very significant statement because, as you said, it is also a cue to the workers, to the base. Now, we have this big debate over how far back in history do you go. There is the Places of Worship Act. The feeling was that after Ram Mandir, Ayodhya, it would end. Now we're looking at Mathura, we're looking at Kashi. How did you read that particular speech of Mohan Bhagwat ji?
As the organization grew stronger and it became the mainstream organization in the country.
Yes.
By the way, may I remind to you, I myself had the experience with one of the senior colleagues of yours, journalist in Delhi, who told me very interestingly that we always used to think that RSS will be a fringe force in this country. We never thought that you would become this far.
Who said this?
No, names are not important. Okay. But we used to think that you are a
marginal
force. You are a communalist force, but you will be in the margins. But you have become the mainstream, which is a reality. Today, RSS is the mainstream. Not in terms of organization strength alone. In fact, as an organization, probably RSS members inside Shakha are only 10%. The supporters are 90% outside. Having reached that stage, now the view of the Sarsang Chalak Bhagwat ji is that we have to be able to bring along 1.4 billion Indians with this thought process. Because the thought process essentially is that we are one people, one family. Nobody in this country has come from outside. Maybe we are having different religious faiths. We all have to live together as one family. He's trying to drive home that point. He's doing it on both sides. When he engages with the Muslim leadership, Christian leadership and others, he tells them that you understand this basic oneness of all of us. And to the cadres and also to the wider society, his advice is, do whatever you want to do, but make sure this harmony is maintained. In that sense, he is a little more open than probably the previous leaders.
Yeah. But how do you see this debate around who is a Hindu? For the RSS, that has been a key core principle, and that has also been a big part of the debate around the RSS, supporters and critics alike. And I want you to explain that, because I know I've seen some of your interviews where you have said constitutionally we remain secular, but culturally we are Hindu. Can you explain what this means?
So, on that whole secular, non-secular debate, in the context of our constitution, I always reminded people that, remember, the word secular did not exist in our constitution until 1976. First 26 years, our constitution did not contain the word secular. Did it mean that those 26 years we were not secular? If we were secular during those 26 years, what was the basis of that secularism? I always said, this country's ethos. That is precisely what even Ambedkar had said in the Constituent Assembly. Even Nehru concurred with it. That's the reason why they said that there is no need to specially mention secular here. Because this society has a particular way of behaving. You know, Rafale aircraft came to Chandigarh, first batch of 5 aircraft. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh ji went there, but there was a pujari with a lemon to put under the wheels of the Rafale. That's our culture. Is it communal or is it secular? So here, certain customs are integral to our lifestyle.
Because religion and culture are intertwined.
Intertwined in our particular social life, because we have been a society living for many thousands of years. So RSS always believed this country is secular in its real sense, respecting all faiths, no discrimination against anybody. But as a political institution, state has to be secular. In this sense, respect all religions equally. No positive discrimination, which we call sometimes as appeasement, nor any negative discrimination. Both should not be there. To that first point about RSS view of who is a Hindu, we have a very broad understanding of that term, not definitely someone who is a practicing Hindu or who is a ritualistic Hindu, not that view. In fact, in RSS, we say something very, very interesting. We say, those who believe or agree that they are Hindus are today's Hindus. Those who think that they are not Hindus, they are tomorrow's Hindus. Meaning, you have to tell them that no, you also belong
because
to
isn't essentially the whole philosophy of Hinduism that it has space for everybody, including atheists?
Absolutely. See, Hinduism
it's not a codified. It's not a codified.
Exactly. It's not. It doesn't qualify as a religion at all. That is why that 1994 famous Supreme Court judgment of Justice J.S. Verma,
it's a way of life,
in which he said it's a way of life. The point is, we gave certain philosophical framework for the people of the whole world, by the way, which was supposed to be practiced by people of this country, whom we call as Hindus. Now, Bhagavad Ji is so liberal. He says, suppose you have some issue with that word, use Bharatiya, no problem. But content should be the same. I mean, you agree that we all belong to this great historical, great tradition, great value system. Accept that value system. 5 and tenets, you accept it.
How do you think the RSS has fared, if you had to evaluate, introspect and do a self-appraisal on your outreach with Muslims? I know that there are RSS leaders who have led these initiatives. There is a sort of delegation of Muslims who have been critics of the RSS, who have met with Mohan Bhagwat, S.Y. Qureshi, Najib Jung, Shahid Siddiqui, General Zamiruddin Shah. I think they were part of that delegation, and those talks have happened. But there is sometimes this kind of shrill rhetoric that comes from groups that are seen to be affiliates of the Sangh Parivar. Let's say Bajrang Dal. You will see sometimes on the ground a Bajrang Dal indulging in what is seen as anti-Muslim rhetoric. I want you to tell me how you think the RSS has fared on this attempt to include Muslims in its thought process, in its outreach.
Look, rhetoric happens on all sides. You will find some people,
I agree. There are extremists,
indulging in
there are extremists in all faiths and on all sides of the debate. I agree with that.
But as an organization, RSS and largely the Parivar organizations never support any extremist radical rhetoric. Never support. I don't deny that individual members don't issue those. I don't deny that. They may sometimes say certain things, which sometimes even RSS or others are forced to clarify also. But that happens on both sides. But on that larger issue of how RSS engaged with these so-called non-Hindu communities, see, initially RSS focus was largely about consolidating the Hindu society. That was the main focus. I would say breakthrough happened during emergency very interestingly.
Really?
When the RSS and Jamaat-e-Islami both were banned by Indira Gandhi. She did a great service to us by putting both of them in the same jails. In jails, they were together. They had some interaction. They had some understanding. From there began some kind of an engagement. Even before that, there was very little engagement, but focus mainly was about Hindu society, how to create unity and all that. Balasaheb Devras took it forward. In fact, he was invited to mosques also in 1970s after emergency. And Jamaat Islam leadership used to have conversations with him. Just before that, in 1973, there was a very famous interview by Guruji Golwalkar to an Iranian scholar by name Jilani. That was a very, very eye-opening interview about what RSS thinks about this whole Hindu-Muslim question. So, from then the opening happened and it was taken forward by successive leadership. I also was part of a major exercise undertaken by Sri Sudarshan as RSS chief. He conducted 6 day-long meetings with Christian groups in 6 cities in the country. I was present in 4 of them.
How interesting.
So the whole idea was that let's not fight with each other, let's understand each other. There were good engagements, there were very acrimonious engagements. I was privy to those things. One day we will write about it. But that effort happened. And you are seeing how Bhagwatji is trying to engage, as you rightly mentioned, 5 or 6 of them met with him. In fact, Bhagwatji went to a madrasa in Delhi, wanted to understand what is taught there, what happens. So this engagement is increasing. The effort is that now that we are able to create larger unity in the country, let's try and see we can bring more people into.
So you mentioned Indira Gandhi. Despite this ban, Neerja Chaudhary's book actually has a very interesting section on Indira Gandhi's relations with the RSS. And one of the points she makes is that Indira Gandhi, despite all of these politics, always kept a channel of communication. She always engaged with the RSS leadership. Today, we are in a very different situation where Rahul Gandhi doesn't just fight the BJP, he keeps attacking the RSS. This is despite the fact that Pranab Mukherjee, and you saw what a big debate there was on it. Pranab Mukherjee actually visited the RSS headquarters, and his daughter always says that that is the beauty of India, that you can disagree and you can engage in that way. So I want you to talk about how that interplay has changed from the time of Indira to the time of Rahul Gandhi.
Unfortunately, the quality of political discourse has also deteriorated in our country over the last, I would say, 1-2 decades, not before, until Atalji was the Prime Minister also. We used to have fairly reasonable kind of political discourse happening. Unfortunately, rise of, post Rajiv Gandhi Parivar in Congress politics has led to a different kind of, politics being practiced by Congress party, which I know personally, many Congress leaders also do not really appreciate, do not really like. But leaders are leaders. They decide the course of their parties. I would only say that probably Mr. Rahul Gandhi should read a little more about his own party and how they treated others. It doesn't mean that if he meets with the RSS will be convinced about his politics. No, we know what are the not so good aspects of his politics. But he may also understand what are the good aspects of RSS, if he wants to really understand. Nobody is at the mercy of anybody else. He has his politics, we have our own organizational works. But in a country like India, how do you deal with non-political organizations like RSS? Congress party has to think.
Tell me one thing. Do you believe the RSS has changed the BJP or the BJP has changed the RSS?
RSS is like a, just a very proverbial mother. Not exactly, don't take it too far, but generally speaking, a motherly organization. It continues to give lot of support, lot of love, affection, and everything to BJP. But at the end of the day, whatever BJP is, because of its leadership, it has all the moral support, all the love and affection.
But when the RSS ideology comes into clash with, let's say, a political decision that the government has to take for pragmatic reasons, there could be something that is not the belief system of the RSS. Then how do you handle? How does the RSS handle it?
So first thing that RSS leadership thinks is, I'm not just the RSS. Those who are sitting there in politics are also RSS. Because after all, Narendra Modi ji is also as much an RSS functionary as anybody else in RSS. He is in a different field. He is in that political field. So he is also like me. He is also of the same conviction, but he is in a different field. So I should first of all understand why he is taking that decision. That is how RSS approaches. So that very point that there will be a clash on any issue, it doesn't happen broadly speaking. If any such thing happens, if there is any occasion where a discussion is necessary, there is always a discussion. I give you an example where I was involved. Whether to have an alliance with PDP or not in
Jammu and
Kashmir was a major issue between us in BJP and of course some leaders in the RSS. But at the end of the day, everybody understood that this is a very important and very, very good decision that the party has taken at the end of it.
Or India's engagement with the Taliban right now. It may not be ideologically something that fits in with what most Indians think, but it's done for other reasons. So I wanted to go back to that alliance, that PDP alliance, because I know how much work you've done in Jammu and Kashmir. What made you do it when it was not at all ideologically in sync with the RSS and even with the BJP?
In 1967, Samyukta Vidhayak Dal governments were created in 7 Indian states. I don't know how many people know about it. In those governments, Janasangh was there, socialists were there, sections of communists were there. So those days, it was a big debate, just as the same debate that happened in 2015. So how can Janasangh sit in a government with socialists and communists? In fact, one person asked Deendayal Upadhyay, the president of Bharatiya Janasangh then, he says it in Hindi, Karboj chaku par gire, chaku karboj par gire, katega to karboj hi. The meaning is, whether a knife falls on a,
watermelon,
on a melon, or a melon falls on a knife,
the result is the same.
The result is the melon will be cut. So that time Golwalkar Guruji used to tell that, you see, if this debate was happening in Socialist Party or Communist Party, they would say that, we have destroyed our party, we have mortgaged our party to, the RSS, BJP. Whereas our thinking should be, look, Deendayal is so clever. He will bring all these people to RSS one day. Look at the approach.
So do you don't regret that alliance even
Absolutely
today?
not. Huh? Absolutely not. We don't regret the formation of the alliance, but the important reason being the alliance was formed in consultation with Mufti Muhammad Saeed.
I remember.
It's unfortunate that, he lived only for 11 months as chief minister. One day whenever I had an opportunity to write, I have to write so many things about what happened between us, between me and Mufti Saab. In person to person. Even probably PDP may say these are all lies, there is no proof to it. Obviously, Mufti Saab is no more, so I can't produce proof. But I can tell you, from those 11 months of my interaction with Mufti Saab, I came to the conclusion that we took the very right decision. But it's also a fact that afterwards, after Mufti Saab's death, we tried to again have the same arrangement, continue for more time. We succeeded for some time, maybe a year and a half. Afterwards, we found that it's not probably working. We had to quit. No, I'm not blaming anybody. Sometimes these things work and sometimes they don't work.
You must do a book on Jammu and Kashmir because you've been a real, real insider there.
Because there are people who write about things of Jammu and Kashmir. I tell you, on those sensitive states, certain things have to go with you to grave.
I agree.
You should never be in an enthusiasm to disclose things.
I agree. Because it's national security and it's sensitive.
Many aspects. And the other person is not there. He cannot vouch for it.
Agree. No, I agree. Anyway. I agree. But in the end, let me ask you this. 2 questions in the end. One is, what would you want to change? This is 100 years of the RSS. In the next 100 years, what should the RSS be looking to change about itself? Women, for example, the participation of women is a big contemporary question. So I have to ask you about that.
Look, as far as women are concerned, there is again some kind of a misunderstanding about the RSS. The RSS has 2 parts. One is the day-to-day activity, which is called Shakha. Shakhas are physical activity essentially. So physical activities can happen separately. So we have football. Women and men play football separately. Even you have clubs. Lion Ladies Club is separate. Lions Club. There will be different kinds. We have schools. Men. So certain types of activities happen separately. That doesn't mean there is any discrimination. Outside, Shakhas for women are run separately by Rashtriya Sevika Samiti, again aligned with RSS. It's not something totally separate organization. But otherwise, RSS has been now very keenly pursuing the project of bringing more and more women into this whole nation building activity. In fact, the RSS, you asked about what is the next agenda of next 100 years. RSS already announced Pancha Parivartan. 5 tops of transformation it wants to achieve in the society. You will be amazed to hear those transformations that RSS wants to bring in. They want, family systems to be strengthened. By family system, again, not any retrograde sense. In a family where a woman has equal say, equal voice as that of the others in the family. That kind of a family where whole family together becomes an instrument in the nation building activity. They call it Kutumba Prabodhan.
Yeah.
That will be a major, today it's very much needed in the time of drugs, in the time of growing, breaking social structures and all. Today, lots of things are happening. I mean, no marriages, families are not formed, and we are moving towards wokeism, different kinds of things. In such a scenario, family. They are working on environment. They are working on Swadeshi. They are working on creating harmony, social harmony. I mean, finally, very interestingly, the blame on RSS is that you are anti-constitution. But RSS, one of the agenda items for the next maybe a few decades, to make citizens duty conscious. India's constitution has
fundamental duties.
Fundamental duties as Article 51A. Nobody knows. There are 10 duties. RSS is now taking up that as its next mission to educate people about fundamental duties. So, RSS has its own agenda set for the future. That is Hindu Rashtra for RSS. That is Hindutva for RSS. That's why I said Hindutva is very contemporary idea for the good of the country. That is what keeps RSS going and keeps it attracting more and more youths.
A final question. If you had to talk about one change that you yourself, from the lived experience of being an RSS leader, who's also worked so closely with the BJP, who's worked in geopolitics, foreign policy, an insurgency hit state like Jammu and Kashmir, what is the one thing that you have learned that you think everyone in public life should know? About our country, about the RSS?
Actually, not one. There will be several things that everybody has to keep in mind. But one thing that I feel very, very sad about in present milieu is that we have done away with social untouchability, right? We have introduced political untouchability in this country.
I agree, yeah.
Why is that untouchability politically?
Yeah.
I mean, we may disagree on issues, but can we still work together?
Absolutely.
Can we still sit together? That, you people have covered Central Hall for many years, probably decades.
Yes.
Don't you feel that the Central Hall of 1990s and 2000s is no longer the Central Hall of today?
Very different.
And if you are seen sitting with somebody, there can be a gossip outside.
Yeah.
I think that has to change in our public life. The rest, of course.
Thank you for saying that. I think that's such an important and positive note to end this conversation on. Thank you, Ram Madhavji. Really appreciate your time and also your books. Earlier on the New World Order, now on 100 Years of the RSS with the seminal speeches. Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.